What's up, bro? No, bro. My bad. I didn't mean to be late. Can I come in?
Yeah, come on in, bro.
Yeah, because we're never late. And we're always invited to the lockout. What's man talking about? It's your boy Views Tube. We are back, baby. And today we covered Camden last time. Now we're gonna cover Birmingham. I don't know too much about what's going on in Birmingham. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. So without too much further ado, let's get it going. Let me hopefully it's not gonna be mash up for me. The deadly divide in Birmingham, GMG versus AR.
Now, Birmingham is one of England's major cities. It's located within the West Midlands and often attracts a lot of tourism from people visiting England. The population of Birmingham is around 1.1 million people living in and around the area. However, what a lot of people don't know about is the ongoing gang war within Birmingham, resulting in the gun and knife crime statistics soaring, with Birmingham even being labeled the gun capital of England, following a surge in gun-related crimes around the late 2010s. With two gangs battling for the control of Birmingham's underground crime scene, these two gangs going by Nine Boys and AR nowadays, with the beef even dating back to the 1980s, after two street gangs being the Johnson Crew and Burger Bar Boys would have a fierce...
That's what we all heard about when we was young. It weren't no Nine Boys or whatever they're calling themselves now. But of course, I'm from London, so I knew a few people from Birmingham, but they were never like gang. Do you know what I'm saying? Couple girls, couple guys met in Napa and things like that. But yeah, man, people in the comments, let me know how it's frying right now.
Rivalry. Due to how long these gangs have been around, I won't be including Burger Bars and Johnson's full rivalry. However, I'll be covering the new generation of these gangs, who have basically carried on the same beef with the new generation of each gang beefing each other. The beef between these two sides, till this day, has proven to be just as deadly as it was in the late 1990s. Now, Nine Boys is a large street gang based around multiple areas within Birmingham. This includes the Newtown, Aston and Lozells area within the B19 postcode. The gang is often referred to as many different names. In the 2000s, the gang would be referred to as the Johnson Crew and would have a fierce...
Okay. What do they do? Red and blue as well. Okie dokie. This is all new to me, guys. Let me know in the comments what's going on. If you know what's going on, if it's still frying, probably is. Do you know what I'm saying? What it's like on a daily basis, let me know.
And deadly rivalry with the Burger Bar Boys, who were based around Handsworth and Hock.
Red and blue.
With the Johnson Crew being formed by members who were protecting themselves and their community from racist groups at the time. It would be during this time that the Johnson Crew, who was previously referred to as the Inch High Crew, would begin to use their presence in order to make money illegally, with them starting to go by the Johnsons at this time. After their meeting spot, which was named the Johnsons Cafe, in recent years, the older generation's name would die out, with a younger generation of gang members emerging, often referring to themselves as GMG or Get Money Gang, and another gang being Nine Boys. Nine Boys has become quite popular within the drill scene in recent years, with rappers like Trills who would seriously put on for Nine Boys. In the GMG gang, prominent rappers would also begin to appear. This included Mitch and Marnes Malone, who have both gained a lot of success in the drill scene. However, we can't...
The same Mitch that went on to RTM, I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I'm not like proper up with it. Do you know what I'm saying? And like I keep saying, it's all new to me. But big them up, man.
Talk about Nine Boys and GMG without talking about their rivals. Now, AR is a large street gang based around Handsworth and Hockley, within the B21 and B18 postcodes of Birmingham. The AR gang's roots can be traced back to the early 1980s when they would be referred to as the Burger Bar Boys. Like the Johnson Crew, the Burger Bar Boys were also formed to combat racist groups in and around the area. However, the youths in the Burger Bar Boys would start to make money illegally, thus becoming the gang we know today. Similarly to the Johnson Crew, the Burger Bar name would originate from the gang's meeting spot being the Burger Bar on Soho Road. The gang around this time would have a rivalry with Jamaican yardie gangs, as at this time, local street gangs would be getting attacked by Jamaican yardie dealers. Now, the Burger Bar Boys have had many smaller offshoot gangs that have been created within the last few years.
See, that's good. Sorry, let me just take that bit back, because that's mad, because I thought they were literally just beefing each other. I definitely didn't know they was formed to battle racism. I'm not saying it's not going on. I'm just saying I didn't know it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Johnson's and the Burgers, that, like I said, that's what we heard about when I was younger, being from London, not knowing nothing. It's just Burger Bar and Johnson. So we just thought they beefed each other. Didn't know that there was like external stuff as well.
Yardie gangs, as at this time, local street gangs would be getting attacked by Jamaican yardie dealers. Now, the Burger Bar Boys have had many smaller offshoot gangs that have been created within the last few years. This includes HTC or Handsworth Town Crooks, GHB or Ghetto Hustler Boys, and RMD or Real Man Dem. In recent years, the Burger Bar Boys name would die out like the Johnson Crew, with youngers starting to form their own sets under the original gang, with the most well-known of these sets being AR or Armed Response, based around
just like in Suspect Gang with the red as well. So it's a bit mad, isn't it? How names ain't very original. Obviously, no disrespect, just saying how it is.
and Winston Green, and also Handsworth. Other sets include LA, which is based around Ladywood, and the Bandits from Handsworth Wood. These gangs all identify themselves with the color red, whilst their opposition Nine Boys and GMG identify with the color blue. For simplicity's sake, I'll refer to each gang as their names nowadays. For example, Nine Boys, GMG, and AR. Prominent members of AR include Lynch, Cooley 18, and Rose, and associated rappers of Bandits, which is another younger generation of Burger Bar Boys, include Millions and Scora, who has recently blown onto the scene, with him looking as if he can blow in the drill scene. Now, Nine Boys and AR haven't always had a rivalry. In the early 1980s, the Johnsons and Burger Bar Boys would actually be calm with each other, as during—
Wow, didn't know that either. So let me just try and sort that out. I didn't know that either. I kind of thought that they, the two different gangs came together because of each other, not like they were cool at first and now they're not, sort of thing. So that's a bit weird. Sorry, guys. I'm trying sort that out a little bit. Yeah, so there you go. Something new learn there, people. Let's continue.
This time, they would both share a common enemy, this being nearby yardie gangs, who had a massive control on the drug game around the areas during this time. The Johnson crew would begin to control the crack and heroin market within Birmingham around this time, with the beef between the two sides starting following a murder that would take place. Around the end of the 1980s, a member of the Johnson crew would murder another member of the Johnsons over a girl. This then resulted in the gang splitting, with members picking sides. As a result of this, members would break off and create the gang Burger Bar Boys, as they often chilled at the Burger Bar on Soho Road. This entire situation—
Wow. So that's how it happened. It's always something, isn't it? Like, obviously with the deadly war in Camden, it was, over a watch. Then once someone gets stabbed or shot, it just never stops after that.
Is crazy, as this technically all started over a girl, and since then has resulted in countless people being killed. In recent years, younger generations of each gang would emerge, notably AR.
Yeah, AR. Sorry.
Nine Boys, and GMG. These gangs have just carried on the older generation's beef, and it's crazy to think that some of the members of the younger generation don't even know why they are beefing. The first instances of the AR gang emerging would be—
That's what I'm trying to say. It's been going on so long, they don't even know what it's about. That's what I said. As soon as someone gets stabbed or shot, though, or whatever, it's just on. It just, when does it die? I don't know too many stories where it just dies.
Around 2015 and 16, when a young member of AR named Lynch would begin to dropping songs like Diligent and M to the N, which would really put on for the gang and gain a lot of attention in the streets. Now Lynch was rapping real grease on his songs, and what a lot of fans were about to find out is that he was not lying at all. On the 20th of July 2015, AR members would ride out looking for ops when they would spot a 16-year-old rival on Nursery Road. The members would lean out of the car and shoot toward the member, hitting him in the back. The boy would be rushed to hospital, with his condition at first being life-threatening.
16-year-old, do you know what I'm saying? Just like in the Camden one, culprit 16 years old. Like, these are the ages that you're outside, that, you know what I'm saying? We did it, not as bad as these guys, but do you know what I'm saying? So this is what they're on now. If you're a parent, you really got to tap in with your kids. My son's 15, a year away. Do you know what I mean? So it's mad.
However, he would luckily survive, although he would be left paralyzed following the attack. However, 5 days later, AR members would ride out again, this time to the Electric nightclub, where two rivals would be shot in the legs. More instances would occur following this, seeing AR riding out and shooting at ops. However, police would begin to watch the gangs, due to how big Lynch was getting in the music scene around this time.
Especially when they keep talking about what they're doing. That's another thing that's silly by these drill rappers. Do you know what I'm saying?
Police would begin to listen to his lyrics and watch his music videos. Lynch would be arrested shortly after, with police catching him with a 100-year-old revolver in his possession. He would
100 years old. 100 years old. If the bullet don't kill you, the rust on it will. Do you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. Sorry.
plead guilty to conspiracy to possess a firearm with intent to endanger life. However, police would connect his lyrics to the shootings prior and would connect Lynch to the 4 shootings in the months prior, with lyrics from popular song M to the N being used in court. The gun he was caught with was also not even used in the shootings months prior. However, due to his lyrics and his street ties, he would be arrested and would be handed 27 years in prison.
What? It weren't the gun, but because of his lyrics and street ties, how does that get you 27 years? There must have been other stuff. That just sounds crazy to me. Sorry.
The N being used in court. The gun he was caught with was also not even used in the shootings months prior. However, due to his lyrics and his street ties, he would be arrested and would be handed 27 years in prison following his connections to the 4 shootings in the months prior. Following the arrest and sentence,
his connections, like what actual evidence have they got? Like, I don't know, man. How did this happen? Someone educate me in the comments, please.
of Lynch, a GMG rapper would begin to make waves in the underground drill scene, this being none other than Mitch, who would drop Pagans in March 2016, which would gain a lot of attention and is a serious banger. The song currently sits on over 2.5 million views. However, Mitch wouldn't stop there, and later in November 2016, Mitch would drop another UK banger titled Money Mitch. This song also gained a lot of attention, with it also sitting at around 2.5 million views.
Definitely the same Mitch that went on RTM.
Beef between the gangs would continue to play out through 2016, with the gun crime statistics rising around this time, with an article even being published around this time titled, "Birmingham is in the grip of the worst gun crime wave in 5 years." It was clear that Birmingham was dangerous around this time, with AR and GMG being the major contributors to the crime rate at this time. It wouldn't be long until we would see the first person being killed between the younger generation of these gangs.
Oh, it's always the way, and it's always the way, man.
On the 12th of September 2017, GMG members would spot a car that they believed belonged to an AR member named K. Rizzy. The GMG members would shoot towards the car. However, what they didn't know was that K. Rizzy's friend was actually in the car. K. Rizzy's friend would be shot as a result of the oncoming bullets. K. Rizzy would realize his friend had been shot and would be planning to get back. Only a day later, they would find their get back. On the 13th of September 2017, Skelly, who was a GMG member, would be standing outside of a convenience store on Great Hampton Row at around 9:30 p.m. K. Rizzy and another AR member would ride out onto GMG territory. The members would spot Skelly, they would drive up to him, and one member would shoot a Mac 11 submachine gun towards Skelly.
Oh, it's mad, because that's literally how it is. Like one set of man can have a Mac 11 and the other set of man is literally walking road with a 100-year-old burner. Sorry, do you know what I'm saying? Huh? Some guys ain't even got the burners. They got the rusty swords. They got rusty burners as well. It's mad. It's mad. It can be anything from a Mac 11 to a rusty spinner, like anything that you can get your hands on over here.
Skelly would be hit multiple times, and the AR members would flee in the car. They were observed speeding off on CCTV following the attack. Police and emergency services would be called to the scene following reports of a gun being fired. When ambulances would arrive, they would try their best to save Skelly. However, he would sadly be pronounced dead on the scene. A murder investigation would be launched following this. The investigation would see the arrest of 2 members, being Kane Robinson or K. Rizzy and Darielle Williams, who would both be arrested following the attack. And they would—
how on earth? They must have been snitches, bro. Or they really that bad, you know what I'm saying? Fingerprints on the casings. I don't know what's going on.
both receive life sentences with a minimum of 33 years. Rest in peace, Skelly. It would be at around the time of the death of Skelly in 2017 that the West Midlands Police in Birmingham would hit the Burger Bar Boys and Johnson crew with the largest gang injunction. This saw 18 men from both gangs being banned from areas in Birmingham. This was a 2-year order and was put in place to stop violence.
Do these things actually ever work though? I always hear about people being banned from their area and stuff, but they're always about anyway, or they're not far, they're the next area over. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a bit mad. It's not like they're totally set adrift. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, people. Does this actually work?
Between both gangs, following a spike in knife and gun crime-related incidents within Birmingham. If the members would go to Birmingham during the gang injunction, legal proceedings would be taken against them. This just proves how deep and dangerous the ongoing gang war is. Anyways, following the gang injunction and death of Skelly, AR and GMG would begin to become very prominent within the drill scene. In 2017, GMG would appear on a song titled Coppers and Fours, which would...
I always hate that as well, you know, when people read the lyrics off their phone, man. I understand, like, people could be writing bars every day, you don't remember it yet, but try and remember it. Like, don't come on the camera if you're reading from your phone. Sounds weird, but like I said in the last video, I'm nitpicky like that. I'm sorry.
Gained quite a lot of attention, with it currently sitting on around 150,000 views. During 2018, the gangs would still be at war with each other, with stabbings and shootings being a regular occurrence, so much so that it would be impossible to talk about every incident. In 2018, the crime rate in Birmingham...
There's so many things like that. You know, Birmingham's the second city of England. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like where I am, London, like every other day, like not everything makes the news. There's just too much of it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's really bad, man. I feel sorry for my kids. I feel sorry for my kids' kids. But it's down to us people, the elders, to try and, you know what I mean, take the good things from the culture and eliminate the bad.
Birmingham would be 99 crimes per 1,000 people, with around 114,000 crimes being reported. However, in 2019, this would soar to around 104 crimes per 1,000 people, with 120,000 crimes being reported at the end of the year. In May 2019, we would see one of the bloodiest days within the beef, with a stabbing, triple shooting, and murder taking place. On the 6th of May 2019, Marnes Malone, who is a prominent member of GMG, would spot AR members sitting in a car. He would point a gun he had on him towards the car. At this point, the AR members had seen him. Anyways, Marnes Malone would attempt to shoot. However, the gun would jam and wouldn't shoot. Marnes would then be chased into an underpass by the members and would be stabbed around 20 times.
Wait. Now, obviously, with the shoulder shift thing, that's the only time I kind of heard about Marnes, innit? As someone from London, you know, he's doing the music. I didn't know that it was like this, though. Pinata settings, they said 20 times. 20 times. The one on the other one, what's his name, Dots or Dotty, 13 times died. 20 times still here. You know, he feels like 50 Cent. Sorry, let me just wheel that up. I can't believe that. That's crazy, guys. That is absolutely bonkers. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Point the AR members had seen him. Anyways, Marnes Malone would attempt to shoot. However, the gun would jam and wouldn't shoot. Marnes would then be chased into an underpass by the members and would be stabbed around 20 times. Emergency services would be called shortly after, and luckily Marnes was able to make a...
Fucking hell. Sorry, I know I'll keep... Listen, yeah. 20 times and still lived. You know, he probably at some point would he have wished he would have done like 20 stabbings. And then you live to remember it. That's bonkers to me.
Recovery. However, police had found him with the gun he attempted to shoot the rivals with. He would be arrested after his recovery and would be given...
Never say that's why he was in jail. You tried to boot in. The thing jammed. You got bored. 20, like you should have died. That's mad in the first place. And then that's what you go to jail for. Mad. Am I chatting shit? Is that what it is? That is so dark. That's actually pitch black.
In 11 years for possession of a firearm. Following the stabbing of Marnes Malone, only a day...
11. So we got... see, listen, I'm doing this on Friday the 13th, and I thought I had bad luck. Yeah? You're hit, like my camera keeps going off. This is what I keep talking about. You know, bad luck Friday the 13th. But imagine this guy, bro. You thought you had the drop on your ops. You jumped out the ride. The thing jammed. What happened to the ride you was in? What happened to the car? What happened to the people you pulled up with? They just drove off after you rose up the thing. Do you know what I'm saying? It jammed. You got chased. You got bored. Nearly lost your life, and then went to jail for 11 months. I mean, wow. Anyway, I'm digressing, but I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Later, a retaliation from GMG members would occur, and a triple shooting would take place, killing one. On the 7th of May 2019, a day following...
Hold on, sorry, let me just roll that back, because I can't... Sorry, guys, sorry. One more time. So hold on. Let me get this right. So So he's jumped out he's jumped out. He's tried to bark the thing at someone, it's jammed. He nearly lost his life after he got chased and bored. Wasn't that the get back? Not only did he go to jail for 11 years, but then the people that bored him was trying to get back on some other pick. This is wild. I can't, when you break it down like that, I can't believe what on earth I'm listening to. I can't believe, bro. I can't. Look at that for Quazin, bro. Look at that for Karma.
With. He would be arrested after his recovery and would be given 11 years for possession of a firearm. Following the stabbing of Marnes Malone, only a day later, a retaliation from GMG members would occur and a triple shooting would take place, killing one.
Right, so hold on. Okay. So it's GMG that retaliated because Marnes tried to do the booting, got bored, went jail, and it's GMG. Okay, that makes sense because how I was understanding it sounded crazy to me.
On the 7th of May 2019, a day following the stabbing of Marnes Malone, Dante Mullings or Darnce would be sitting in a parked Vauxhall Corsa with 2 other members. Darnce is believed to have been a member of the AR gang. Anyways, a car containing GMG members would pull up next to Darnce. They were observed slowly driving up to the car. Following this, a member within the car that contained GMG members would open fire. Hitting Darnce and the other members in the car, Darnce would be critically injured and would be rushed to hospital. Despite the attempts of doctors and nurses, he would sadly be pronounced dead moments later. Yet again, another murder investigation would be launched. This investigation saw the arrests of 4 men from the GMG gang. They would all be charged for the murder and would be given life sentences following the murder of Darnce. Rest in peace, Darnce. In recent years, Marnes Malone would actually rap about the incident in a song titled Cold Hearted World, where he would rap, "I'm so glad that the stick jammed, because it was pointed at his forehead." This recent song from Marnes Malone has...
See, that's mad. That's mad. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I can't tell you he's right or wrong for saying things like that. He must feel like 50 Cent. There's probably more chance of you getting shot up and living than stabbed up and I don't know, is there? Am I chatting shit? The PTSD is nuts. 20 times you got stabbed and you lived. Then you had to go and do 11 behind the door. Then you're making lyrics like that. I don't know why you'd be glad that it jammed, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It was aimed at his forehead. All right, cool, but you nearly lost your life and you done 11. There's nothing positive about that. I'm sorry. Do you know what I'm saying? There's nothing. Only the fact that you're still alive. You know what I'm saying? I'm rambling a bit, but yeah, mad.
Is actually blown up, with it gaining around 2 million views on YouTube, which is crazy as he is still in jail and is making serious waves in the UK drill scene. Whilst the violence in the streets continued through 2019, with stabbings, shootings, and kidnappings becoming very normal between the two gangs, and going into 2020, the beef would once again heat up, with 2020 being a dangerous year in the beef. Around the end of 2019, a younger member of 9 Boys would begin to start dropping songs, this being Trills, who would drop Scary Flats in September 2019. This song would gain a lot of attention and currently sitting on 338,000 views. It would be at the very beginning of 2020 that another person would fall victim to the streets, with this person even being remembered today by rappers like Marnes Malone. On the 15th of January 2020, a 17-year-old alleged member of GMG named Nas would get into an altercation with a boy who was from South London. Following this altercation, he would end up getting stabbed 4 times by the boy. The boy from London would flee following the attack, and police and emergency services would be called to the scene following the stabbing. Sadly, Nas would be pronounced dead shortly after the stabbing, with yet
okay, but if you're saying it's a boy from South London, then it's obviously not, was it something to do with the gang? No, I don't know. Let me not talk on it because I don't know.
Another murder investigation being launched. Seeing the arrest of the boy during the trial of the boy, it would be revealed that the boy who killed Nas was sent to Warwickshire to sell crack cocaine. This is often referred to as going OT, or out of town, and is the act of young people going to different counties to sell drugs. During sentencing, the boy would actually be found guilty of manslaughter, as he argued he acted in self-defense against Nas. The boy would be sentenced to 10 years in jail. Rest in peace, Nas. After
that's so mad.
The death of Nas, Nine Boys rappers and GMG rappers would begin to pay their respects to him. An example of this was recently when Marnes Malone dropped a song titled Ball For You, where he would rap about how he felt when Nas died and how he has continued to support Nas's family even whilst he's in jail. Rapping, "Got your sister's new Jordans, but they just want their brother back." He would also be observed giving Nas's family money in the music video. It's clear Nas was a loved member and his passing had a real impact on GMG and Nine Boys. Rest in peace, Nas. During 2020, violence between these
Sorry, I had myself muted. How old was he? 17? Like, psh. And of course, this is what happens when the kids are outside, man. Just, do you know what I mean? Just open and vulnerable to all this rubbish.
gangs would escalate. It would be around this time that a shooting would take place. On the 20th of April 2020, two Nine Boys members named N Loose and D Skang would spot rival AR members inside a DFC chicken shop. The Nine Boys members would begin shooting at the rivals. This was all captured on CCTV, and the AR members were seen jumping over counters and running through the back of the chicken shop. Following this broad day shooting, both of the Nine Boys members, N Loose and D Skang, would be arrested. Both of these members would be found guilty of possession of a firearm and would be jailed following the attack. Following the attack, Trills would drop a song titled Band's Addiction, where he would...
And that's so mad as well, because not only, all right, your rivals are in the shop, but so are the shop workers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's continue.
actually reference the incident within the lyrics. He would rap,
"Tops to the growth to the six, to the six. The man should have used just eat, but instead of our lap for a chicken and chips. All I hear is Nine Boys that. All I hear."
The violence wouldn't end there, however, and only a few months later in September 2020, another person linked to the beef would sadly be killed.
Of Nazir Francis, aka Krill.
On the 26th of August 2020, a GMG member named Krill and his friend Lawrence Morgan would spot a group of rivals and would shoot towards the rivals, with the group returning fire. Krill would get into a nearby car and would attempt to flee from the bullets. However, the car wouldn't start, with Krill being shot in the stomach by the rivals. Sadly, Krill would be pronounced dead moments after being shot, with another murder investigation being launched following the shooting. This saw two teenagers aged 16 and 17 being arrested.
Parents, keep your kids inside, man. Don't believe their story. Don't believe their puppy dog eyes. They'll thank you later, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? They will thank you later.
Lawrence Morgan would also be arrested, with all of the members involved being sentenced to life in prison. Rest in peace, Krill. Following the death of Krill, a lot of his old songs would begin to get leaked. This included songs like Hit in His Head. This entire situation is sad, as Krill was a very talented young rapper, but he
Yeah, but he's probably still talking about what he's living. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is the vicious cycle.
chose to focus on the street life and would sadly fall victim to the streets. The beef would continue throughout 2020, with stabbings and shootings being reported a lot around this time. And what makes it crazier
15-year-old boy
is that a lot of the members doing these violent acts are kids, with the youngest even being a 12-year-old responsible.
The less said about that, the better. My daughter's about to be 12 this month. The less said about that, the better.
For a shooting. 2020 would end with Nine Boys rappers Trills and Screwface dropping a serious UK drill banger titled Birmingham City. This song would blow up and seriously put Nine Boys on the scene, with it gaining a lot of attention and currently sitting on over 7 million views, seriously blowing up. However, Trills and Screwface weren't the only rappers from these areas beginning to rap. On the opposition side, a new rapper known as Cooley would begin to rap on drill beats, and he was known to be seriously hard. However, due to the condition he had being sickle cell, this makes him sound and look younger than he actually is. Due to his voice being quite squeaky, people would assume he was a younger. However, he was around 18 in 2020. Anyways, Cooley would drop a song with fellow AR members titled No Hook. Cooley has actually had quite a big...
Big up to all my sickle cell sufferers, man. It's not easy. All my Caribbean people, them. Do you know what I'm saying? African people, them. Yeah? Got people in the family that suffer with that. It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Big them up.
Big impact on the beef between AR and Nine Boys / GMG, with him allegedly being behind many shootings and stabbings. 2021 would start, with the war continuing, and within the first month of 2021, a 15-year-old member of AR would be killed. On the 21st of January 2021, a 15-year-old named Keon Lincoln, who was allegedly a member of AR named K1. Anyways, K1 would be standing outside of his home within Handsworth. A white car would pull up containing GMG and Nine Boys members. The members would spot K1. K1 would jump over a garden wall wall and would begin to run up a road. The GMG members would run after him, chasing him. He would be stabbed multiple times, and then a 14-year-old member of GMG would shoot K1 whilst he was on the floor, with him sustaining a wound to the stomach. The GMG members would flee following this, leaving K1 to die on the scene, and sadly, K1 would be pronounced dead moments later. Police and emergency service.
This is so jarring. You see, like I was saying in the last video, these sort of things, like people got shot, people got stabbed, but it's really like the actual murderers. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, or it was always last resort. Now it's first resort. Just a waste of life, man.
Would arrive at the scene with another murder investigation being launched. This investigation would see a 14-year-old boy being sentenced to 16 years, a 16-year-old being sentenced to 17 years, and a man named Kieran Donaldson being sentenced to a 12-year custodial sentence after supplying the gun used. This is crazy, as K1 and one of the GMG members actually went to school together and were observed being friends. However, due to their street ties, they would be forced to beef each other. AR members would be looking for retaliation following this, and around March 2021, they would find retaliation against one of 9 boys' most.
Same thing happened. This how it always happens. Sorry to keep stopping it. The same thing in the last doc in Camden. All people knew each other. They used to play runouts. Now they're boring each other up. Sorry. It's, you know what I mean? You know your ops mum or hi Mrs. whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're trying to bore up her son. Like, it's mad. Is so crazy, bro.
Popular members. This being the stabbing of Trills, who was becoming a very well-known member of 9 Boys around this time. Trills would be trapping out of a bando around March 2021. AR members would get the drop on him. They would wait for him outside of the house. Once Trills would leave the house, the AR members would follow behind him. A fight would then ensue between the members, with Trills being stabbed in his leg and in his back. The attackers then slashed him multiple times in the face with the knife and left him. Trills would be rushed to hospital and would luckily make a recovery, with a photo emerging around this time showing the slashes to Trill's face. 9 Boys would be planning a get back for the stabbing on Trills, and a day later on the 14th of March 2021,
my son's birthday, mad.
9 Boys members would ride onto AR territory, where they would then shoot a 17-year-old member of AR. However, he would also luckily survive. It's also alleged another rival member would be shot on the same day by 9 Boys. It would be around 2021, after Trills would recover, that he would be dropping serious UK drill bangers. However, since 2021, we haven't heard from Trills, with it being alleged he jumped off road and is focusing on a legal path. It's also alleged he...
Oh, that's a good story. No, that's a good story. Do you know what I'm saying? Flipping out.
He got de-recruited because he was gay. However, I guess...
Well, I don't know about all of that. Listen, you can play for whatever team you want. Yeah. That's mad, though. That is mad. Wow.
We will never know. Throughout 2021, we would also see another member allied with GMG starting to rap, this being K-Money from the CG gang, who would drop some songs within 2021. However, what he didn't know was that he was being investigated by West Midlands police. This was due to his street presence, with him allegedly being very involved with the streets. And in November 2021, police would raid a bando he was in. They would find drugs and guns on the scene. He would be arrested and charged. Following this, he would later be sentenced to 10 years in 2022. However, despite his prison sentence, he has managed to grow a fan base from prison, along with Marnes Malone. K-Money has managed to establish himself as a UK drill rapper from jail, with a lot of his songs gaining hundreds of thousands of views. In 2021, Cooley would also be dropping songs. This included 22 Gs, which was a serious UK drill banger, and currently sits on 665,000 views. However, it would also be around November 2021 that Cooley would find himself being wanted for a shooting he had committed. On the 18th of November 2021, 3 members of the AR gang, including Cooley, would ride out looking for ops. They would spot a 13-year-old boy who was walking with friends at around 7 p.m. A black SUV vehicle with the 3 AR members.
What the fuck? I swear it was, I can't even remember who said it in the lyrics of one of the active gang, talking about, yeah, like, don't try and draw us in, like we know who we're going after, sort of thing. How can you say it, like a 13-year-old boy? Now, obviously, if the 13-year-old boy is trying to slap it at people, and listen, I can't even compute Oh yeah, look at the little boy over there. Let's go and slap the barker at him. That is madness to me.
Members would pull up. They would spot the 13-year-old. Cooley would shoot the 13-year-old in the back. Cooley and the other AR members would flee following the shooting and were observed running away on CCTV. Despite the boy's injuries, he managed to call police. Emergency services would arrive on the scene and would perform life-saving first aid. Luckily, the boy would survive. However, the boy has been left paralyzed following the shooting. And the saddest part is that it was a case of mistaken
Identity. I always say that to my son, because these guys are not really murderers like that. They're not going to wait until they find the person they're trying to get. Do you know what I'm saying? They're just going to do peer pressure rides, slap it at crowds, mistaken identity. Like, if you're doing things like this, you got to be certain what you're doing, man. I tell my son all the time, don't be dressing like these dickheads. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they're not real killers like that. It's all hype. It's all, oh, we're just going to shoot and hope we hit someone and then try and rap about it. Like, you're not looking someone in the eye. You're not guaranteeing that that's him. Do you know what I'm saying? This is going to be a long one.
Anyways, an investigation would be launched following this shooting, and days later, armed police would arrest Cooley and the other AR members, with it all being captured on an armed police officer's body camera. In 2022, Cooley was sentenced to life with a minimum of 17 years for the shooting, and yet this is another wasted talent within the drill scene, as Cooley was actually a cold rapper. However, he focused on the road life and must now deal with the consequences. Following the shooting, a younger rapper from Handsworth would start rapping, this being Scora, who would drop a song titled Squeeze It, with a rapper from the set LT9, this rapper being Rels. This duo was seriously hard, and due to Scora only being 16 at the time, fans would start to notice him as he had a seriously hard flow and a seriously cold rhyming scheme along with Rels. Now, Scora reps the bandit side of Handsworth. However, in recent years, he has grown closer to LT9 and frankly, often dropping songs with members of this gang. I believe Scora could go clear if he focuses on music, and especially because of his age only being 18, he definitely has the potential, as he's colder than people double his age in my opinion. 2022 would start with rappers from both sides of the beef sending shots towards each other in the drill scene. This would include a rapper from Aston named Screwface dropping a Hood's Hottest. However, he isn't that consistent, and nor are other Nine Boys members. In 2022, a member of B20 would be getting seriously active in the streets, this being SK, who had allegedly applied a lot of pressure to all of his ops. However, sadly, due to him being active in the streets, he would be targeted by rivals, and in July 2022, the life would catch up to him. Around July 2022, SK, who was a member of B20 or Bandits, would be attacked by rivals on Nursery Road. He would sadly be stabbed by the rivals. The rival members would flee following the attack, and emergency services would be called to the scene. However, despite their best attempts at saving SK, he would sadly be pronounced dead moments later. A murder investigation
16.
Would be launched following this, with a 12-year-old among other teenagers being arrested. However, I can't find a whole lot on this, as a lot of it is unknown. Rest in peace.
A lot of these kids, man, they do it for the peer pressure and they go home and they're crying into their pillow, hoping the people don't die. Like, that's the God's honest truth. Do you know what I'm saying?
SK. Following the death of SK, rappers like Scora, Rels, and Chubbs would be paying their respects to SK within their music. A lot of SK's music was leaked after his death, and he was a seriously cold rapper from the exclusives I have heard. Since the death of SK, many tit-for-tat incidents have occurred between both gangs. Both sides have been quite inconsistent in music. However, Screwface and YS would drop a cold song recently titled Talk My Shit, and rappers like Scora have also been consistent in the drill scene, with him gaining hundreds of thousands of views on songs he has released like Danger to Society and Paid in Full. Recently, Marnes Malone and K-Money would blow up from jail with songs like Cold Hearted World and Signing Day, gaining a lot of attention. However, both rappers wouldn't stop at just dropping songs. They would actually both drop albums. In 2023, K-Money would drop a 15-track album titled Time Is Money Too, and in 2024, he would drop an album titled Sign to the Streets. Both of these albums would gain a lot of success. In 2023, Marnes Malone would also drop an 11-track album, with this also gaining a lot of success, and I hope that both of these rappers can use their talents to gain success, even whilst being behind bars. If you have learned anything from this video, make sure it's that the road life isn't worth it, and rarely leads to anything good, mostly leading to either jail or death. Recently, Marnes Malone would address when he got stabbed on Instagram with him sharing a lyric he rapped, "I thought that I would meet you on the day that I got stabbed. I was knocking on the door, but they wouldn't let me in. Rest in peace Krill, rest in peace K1, rest in peace Darts, rest in peace Skelly, rest in peace Nas, and rest in peace SK. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like. Safe.
Yeah, mad. UK drill plug. Make sure you check that out as well. Make sure you check that out as well. That was interesting, man, but also just sad, man. Just the ages of these kids doing what they're doing. So different in my day. Do you know what I'm saying? So different, man. We don't promote it, but we do need to be aware. We do have to be diligent. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you thought, man. This was way longer than I expected it to be. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back again soon, people.